Would you rather take a Big Show chop or 5 Ric Flair chops? That's different.
I'm going to say the Big Show chop because it's just the one.
Right, but I actually disagree with you here. I'm taking the 5 Ric Flair shots because even though Ric Flair is real good at what he does, Big Show's hand will cave in your fucking rib cage if he wants to. You know what I mean? Like Rick.
Yeah, I mean, look at what he did to Kofi Kingston.
You think that hole is a kawiki dink? Holmes collapsed his chest. All right, yeah. No, but let me tell you something. If Big Show wanted to, he'd fucking mangle you in that ring. You know, he holds back. So let's just say here, he says, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go all in. And he caves in your chest. Ric Flair can't do that. He'll hit you with the motherfucker and it's going to hurt. You might crack a rib. That's about it. You'll live. You know what I mean? And he's 90. Remember that. He's 90 now. So it's all good. Even if they're both prime, I'm taking I'm not taking Big Show. I'm taking Ricky boy. Final answer?
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Big Show.
That's crazy, bro. If you heard the fucking shots before, it's like taking a frying pan to your fucking chest. You can't. Good luck, Holmes. I know I'm taking those 5 shots with pride, too. It's like,
for the love of the game.
For the love
of the game.
I don't think bro understands what love means. You know what I mean? I think that sounds like a domestic relationship right there. I don't know. It might not work out for you too well. Shit. It is what it is. What can you do? Says the guy who's about to take 5 chops for the love of the game.
Yeah, real, dude.
That's what it is.
Now, here's the thing. Would you take 5 Gunther chops?
Fuck that! No. I'm taking Show. I'm taking Show. Gunther's chops are legendary, bro. Fuck that. I ain't trying to be made a mark. I'm good. I don't need that shit in my life. Thank you very much. Moving along. This is a good one. Is it better to be a very good in-ring performer but with subpar mic skills, or a subpar in-ring performer but with very good mic skills?
Very good mic skills for sure.
Same.
Because I'm not trying to knock the guy. He's very talented, but look at Cena.
Yeah, that's it.
He's not the greatest in-ring performer, but he can tell a story,
and he adapts. That's the biggest thing with him, right? Is that he can adapt.
Honestly, I would even put Roman Reigns in that same category.
Mm-hmm. Especially
not
nowadays.
The best in-ring performer,
right?
But when he's cutting a promo, you're invested.
Aura.
Yeah, he's the tribal chief, and then you get performers that are the best of both worlds. You get Punk and Rollins.
Mm-hmm. That's real.
You get a Drew McIntyre,
and they kind of complement each other even more because you get the other person carrying them.
Oh, another good example of like really good mic skills, Jey Uso.
Real. He's got it.
Yeah, just look at how over he is right now, and then his matches aren't the best, but he's entertaining.
How we feeling about him winning the Rumble? How we feeling?
I like it, bro. Bro deserves the win, the Rumble win.
I agree. You know what? I think that a lot of the hate is just basically due to the fact that everyone got their hearts broken with John Cena not winning.
Yeah. And
it's also a mixture of the fact that Logan Paul was the one to eliminate CM fucking Punk. You know what I mean? Like it just seemed all hella crazy. And then with John Cena getting eliminated as the last 2 in the fucking ring, talk about salt in the wounds. So I hear people's plight. I hear people's pain. But let's be honest, guys. I've heard this on Reddit. I've heard this on YouTube. I don't know who said it originally. Don't ask. But you guys are complaining about the same shit that you guys were complaining against. For people like Zack Ryder and people who are really over with the internet, with the crowd. People love them. And WWE never really did anything with them because they thought they were too gimmicky. You know, Jey Uso is in that exact same position, and WWE is actually listening to their fan base. And now we want to cry. You know what I mean? Now people want to lose their mind. Jey doesn't deserve it. It's like, man has been consistent for over a decade, pushing the limit, and now he gets to face Gunther in a one-on-one Rocky story. They definitely did it with Sammy, and it worked with Sammy. Imagine the same thing with like this level of buildup. You know what I mean? It's going to be emotional. It's going to be a fun outing. It may not be the best match in the world, but it will be amazing to see Jey hold that title and actually realize his dream because the fucking guy deserves it. All right?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that shit. He doesn't deserve it. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Go ahead.
The thing that I'm not the most, like the biggest fan of is the match choices that Jey has between Gunther and Cody. I'm not really interested in Jey facing either of them, to be honest. Because he's already lost to Gunther a handful of times.
Yes, he has. And I don't think him versus Cody makes a lot of sense considering they're both faces.
Yeah.
But my thing is, right, is they confirmed that he's going to fight Gunther. So,
yeah, they did.
You know, so, you know, to be like I said before, it probably won't be the 5-star match that we're praying for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And could other people have supplied that against Gunther? Sure. Like if Punk went up against Gunther, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I feel like at the end of the day, I'm happy with either choice. I'm really happy with Punk winning and go up against Gunther. I'm really happy with Seth winning. All these people. But the fact that Jey won, it doesn't deflate me. You know what I mean? Absolutely not. I'm really happy that Jey won. I'm really happy for him. I hope he gets his shot and that he actually does win the title. Hell, he could lose it a month later. That's fine with me. I just need him to hold the title. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah, I agree. And how do you feel about... I've seen a lot of people saying that Jey Uso is getting the push that LA Knight should have gotten.
Yeah, early on.
And I agree with that to an extent. And that there's a reason why LA Knight wasn't pushed as hard as Jey Uso is being pushed right now.
Why is that?
And I think it's because when LA Knight was getting over was when there was only... when Roman was, the undisputed champion. Mm-hmm. And you still had all the bloodline stuff going on. You had Cody Rhodes finishing his story. And I feel like all that stuff overshadowed LA Knight.
Mm-hmm.
As popular as LA Knight was, he was not going to be bigger than the story we got at WrestleMania 40.
Right.
Yeah.
It just wasn't the right time.
Yeah. Definitely not the right time.
But now that everyone's separate,
it's
the perfect time to highlight these people, you know? I mean, you look at, it's the perfect time to highlight these younger guys. And a perfect example of that is Bron Breakker's push at the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Just that. First of all, he dominated the ring when he went in, right? But the biggest thing for him was when he speared Roman Reigns in the middle of that ring. The level of dominance that guy displayed. He got eliminated right after, but just that bit, just that little nudge, just that little nod towards the audience saying, hey, he can hang, was enough for me. That guy is now considered main event status, absolutely. So we don't know where the IC title is going to go. Eventually, Braun's going to lose it, and whenever he does lose it and jump up to the main card, I cannot wait for the crazy matches that can take place. All I'm saying is, when the fuck are we going to get Bron Breakker versus Gunther? I'm just saying. It's gotta happen, all right? I cannot die before that match is created, okay? Shit.
That would be the match.
Bron Breakker.
For sure.
Bron Breakker versus Gunther and Bron Breakker versus Oba Femi. I need to see it. I need to see it.
Thing is, when it comes to like Bron Breakker being in the Rumble, I do have a pet peeve with that.
Go ahead.
I don't like mid-card champions challenging for the world title or for a shot at main eventing WrestleMania. Like, you're already going into WrestleMania as a fucking champion.
It kind of devalues the title.
Yeah,
I hear you.
Focus on defending your title. Like, I did not need Bron Breakker being in the Rumble. I did not need Lyra Valkyria being in the Rumble. And then on Raw last night, we had Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria in a chamber qualifier match. Lyra should have a storyline, and she should be defending her IC title. She should not be trying to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. She's already a champion.
I agree with that. And let me add on to it. Okay. I feel like at the end of the day, when it comes to these, especially with the women's titles right now, they're trying to elevate these new titles that everyone's been told about. And right now it doesn't mean a whole lot. You know what I mean? It's just a piece of gold around the waist. If you want to elevate these titles, you need to keep them away from big match events. You got to keep them out of the Elimination Chamber. You got to keep them out of the Rumble. And any kind of situation where they're trying to build up towards something, a big match like that, they need to stay away from it. Okay. Because like a gauntlet for the world title on the main show, they need to stay away from it. Okay. Unless they're going to fucking win it, they need to stay away from it. Okay. Because that just devalues the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. We all understand that the world title is the one that everyone wants, of course, but we should really be trying to build up these IC and US titles. I hear you. I hear you, Squeedo.
It's a different opinion, but I saw someone post it on Twitter, and I fully agree with this. I feel like Elimination Chamber has become a nothing PLE because, you know, the world titles used to be defended in the chambers.
Yeah.
Now winning the Elimination Chamber match is just a number one contender spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really the same energy. You
Yeah.
could just do, you know, Elimination Chamber for the IC title could work. If you don't want to do the world title, you could have the mid-card titles be challenged in the chamber, and they're not fucking doing it. And now it's just a number one contender spot, and you're having the mid-card champions try to qualify for the chamber. It just, I feel like it devalues the mid-card titles, and it devalues the Elimination Chamber match type.
I hear you. And the Rumble is a great way to start the WrestleMania road. You know what I mean? And it also sets the tone for the stories that we're going to be receiving. All of that.
Mm-hmm.
Elimination Chamber is just right in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's no implications of a championship switching hands or something like that halfway through. You know, it's almost predetermined not to happen, which makes the show less interesting. I hear you. Absolutely. So, I mean, well, it is predetermined. It's WWE, but you get my drift. It feels predetermined, and it shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at the amazing story between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. Shawn Michaels entered the Rumble because Undertaker was World Heavyweight Champion. If Shawn Michaels could win the Rumble, he could challenge Undertaker to a rematch at Mania for the belt. He loses. Go to Elimination Chamber, where Undertaker's defending his world title. Shawn Michaels interferes and costs him the belt. So now you have a title switch hands. So who was it that won the Rumble that year? Edge?
It was Edge.
Yeah, so you get Edge versus Jericho now for the world title at WrestleMania, and you have Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker.
Yeah, and with that, I'm sorry, can we talk about that rivalry for a second? The level of storytelling that took place within that entire sequence. Yeah. I'm sorry, but Streak versus Career, I mean, first of all, the fact that both of those matches aren't 5 stars on Dave Meltzer's ratings, like, that's... Like, how, I'm sorry, how criminal can that be? You know what I mean?
Real.
Like, how do you, as a person who rates matches, who's seen it all, not give that match a 5-star? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Really honest. Because, like, what was wrong with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe he's seeing stuff that I'm not seeing. But I don't think so. I'm being honest. I'm saying there's a little bit of bias. There's a little bit of what's the word? Probably what's the word? Kind of like this mentality that WWE is up and high on their own farts. I don't know. I feel like Dave Meltzer's definitely prescribed to that mentality for a long time. That's why he gives smaller shows a lot higher ratings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he just sees WWE as like mainstream, like. You know, not as good. It's casual.
Watered down, yes.
Yeah, it's casual.
And that's a joke to me because really it's like, especially nowadays with WWE being the market share of all of it is like, yeah, you know what? It is mainstream. Absolutely. Casual? It's like when you watch UFC fights, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I only watch the main shows. I don't watch Fight Night. Oh, you're a casual. It's like... I'm not a casual. I just make sure I watch the good fights. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching, you know, I'm not saying there isn't good fights on the Fight Night, on Fight Pass. Of course there's good fights, but you're a lot less likely to see them there. You know what I mean? And I don't like wasting my time. It's what it is, you know? Sorry.
Yeah. And I mean, it's also a thing of like, not to knock AEW, but I'm going to knock AEW.
Go ahead.
They always say AEW were the best wrestle. And it's like, if you were the best, you'd be number one. It's simple as that.
Sorry. Oh, but the WWE, they're superstars. It's like, listen, all right, it's a great promo. It's a great shoot thing for Paul Heyman to say. But if you really want to take that conversation into consideration, like an actual debate, fuck yeah, they're superstars. They've elevated themselves with just the names alone. Why didn't you think of that? You know what I mean? You want to be something, you got to call yourself that thing. And these people are supposed to be seen as larger than life. Why would you call them wrestlers? Of course you're going to call them superstars. You know why? Because you can't call them superheroes. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah, it's the closest thing you get.
Yeah, so as far as isn't that what wrestling, professional wrestling has always been? It's supposed to be viewing these people as larger than life so you get involved in their storylines. You know what I mean? That's what it all is. That's what TNA, AEW, Japan Wrestling, all of them invest into a character, make them larger than life, make them relatable to an audience, and so you can relate, enjoy their stories, and be invested in them. That's how it all works. And if calling somebody a superstar adds to that particular aura, well, then why the fuck would you not use it? This isn't a serious argument. You know what I mean? If you want to talk about promo, oh, it's a cool thing to say, of course. But if you genuinely want to talk as if this is an actual talking point, that is deconstructed within the first 5 minutes of conversation. And anything past that is just redundant. Sorry, it's the truth.
Yeah.
I think the marketing people who have been doing this their entire life know a little bit more than you.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
For sure. And it's also a thing of like, there aren't many wrestlers in AEW that I feel have gained popularity outside of AEW. Like, I know of like Kenny Omega just because, I mean, in the sphere of professional wrestling, he's made a name for himself in Japan, on the indies. He just hasn't been to WWE. But I can't say that for a lot of other AEW stars. And then, you know, you have names in WWE. Like, I've had people talk about Roman Reigns. People that don't even watch wrestling know who Roman Reigns is. He was a dominant champion for 4 fucking years. And he's brought the company to where it is now. So he's a pretty big name.
All that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have people like John Cena, who's not only the main event on wrestling, but is also in multiple big movies and TV shows. I mean, the guy's a chameleon.
Yeah, and people knew Cena before the movies, too.
Right. Yeah. Because he was a household name. You know what I mean? And then you look at someone like Dave Bautista, who probably wasn't as mainstream as those other guys, but took it really seriously and just propelled himself. I mean, he's the best actor out of all of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's gotten by not on his star power, but his talent.
Right,
you know?
and he used WWE as a launching point. You know what I mean? Hell, Becky Lynch is trying that right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish all power to her, man. She's great. She's talented.
For sure. I think she can do it.
But my thing now is like WWE has gotten to such a massive point that like you can use it as a launching point, and you have an even bigger chance of it actually being successful now because of how mainstream WWE is. You go back 20 years and it's just a little niche thing. You know what I mean? It's like it went from the niche thing that people like, oh, you watch wrestling, to the Attitude Era where everyone was watching wrestling. And then it went back down to the niche thing. Oh, you still watch wrestling? And now it's back at that mainstream level where you can say, oh, I fucking love wrestling openly. And you won't get no sneers from nobody except old heads who don't understand. You know what I mean? That's it.
And I feel like that really started with WrestleMania 40.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. That is the biggest story told in WWE, period. Hands down, no doubt. And that's crazy because we have Stone Cold versus The Rock. You know what I mean?
That is true. Yeah, you have so many big moments in WWE.
So many massive moments. And Rhodes versus Roman. 2 new guys, or newish guys, right? But like 2 guys from this generation. They're the biggest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so exciting to see like a match for like a bunch of superstars. They're all relevant. They're all cool. I love all of them, and none of them were in the era I grew up in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so exciting to see that because I'm like, wow, yeah, like WWE's really doing good right now. Their talent pool is just amazing. They don't have to hang on to any of the old guys. They got all these new guys, and they're fucking talented. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean, the Rumble is a great example of that. You had a Rumble with CM Punk and John Cena in it, and you had Jey Uso win.
Yeah. And
I mean, Jey Uso's a veteran in his own right, but his name wasn't big until recently.
The 20s.
Yeah, the 20s.
And what's crazy to add to that is that it doesn't seem like a ripoff. I mean, some people may disagree. Oh, it should have been Punk. Oh, it should have been Cena. They're gonna get WrestleMania matches anyway.
Yeah,
Come on.
They're gonna
All
be
right, stop it.
It's Cena and Punk.
People defend that shit so heavily, and I think the reason why is because they're kind of too far into kayfabe, and they think like, oh, Punk should be having the title match. He deserves the title. He deserves the championship. I'm like, bro, Punk's getting paid either way, and he's gonna have a crazy good match at Mania, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see him hold the title, absolutely, when when the time is right. Do I prefer them giving it to a newer guy or him going up against Gunther, who is like the best heel in the company right now? Yes, absolutely. Oh, besides Roman, but I guess he's a face now, right?
Yeah, technically.
Actually, Drew McIntyre might be the best heel, not going to lie.
Yeah, I would agree, actually.
Drew and then Gunther. Gunther's there,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But I can say like the best pure wrestler right now. Yeah, I'd give it to him.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll say one of the best heels in the company right now. Either one, you get it. Damn it, you know. I can't believe like people are like so fervently against that decision. It makes no sense to me. It's like this is the guy. What are we doing? This is the guy we've been pumping up for so many years. You know what I mean? The guy who's been consistent for so long. You know. It's like, oh, he just got famous off a name. That's it. It's like, no. He got famous off a movement. He got famous off of his promos. His promos is the biggest one. The guy walked the walk and talked the talk. And while he's not the greatest performer in the world, he's got great, consistent promos. He added to a dynamic that was considered cinema by most people with the Bloodline story. I mean, the guy deserves a chance, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like I said, like you could say, oh, but it would be better if this person won, if this person won. It's like everyone's got their subjective taste, but you cannot say that Jey is a bad decision. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure. He's really not.
No, absolutely not. You know, when I saw him win and Cena get eliminated, I was like, no fucking way. You know what I mean? Like, but then after the shock of a minute, I'm like, good for Jey. You know what I mean? Like, good for Jey.
Exactly.
Look at that fucking guy. You know what I mean? That's it.
And it's crazy because it made me pay attention. Because, you know, for a minute there, I was like, you know, John's got it. He's winning. And then he didn't. And as soon as both feet hit the floor, I'm like, oh, shit. I got to, like, sit up in my seat. What the fuck just happened? I got to pay attention.
I feel like that little 30-second gap of shock, a lot of people don't experience that full gap. What they do is in the middle of that shock, they either tweet about it or talk to people who are around them about it. And so they all like kind of breed that shock opinion rather than their finalized opinion. And so their shock opinion becomes their finalized opinion.
Exactly.
For example, oh my God, John Cena just fucking won. I mean, John Cena just fucking lost. And then they talk over to their friends like, John Cena lost. And then you see everyone sad. And then now you're sad. And now you're not forming your own thing. I was like, you know what? Good for Jey. Now all of a sudden it's like breeding dislike and kind of bitterness towards Jey. He's like, we could have got John. You know what I mean? But if you're sitting there alone watching the show like I was, shut up. Just taking the shock. And then you look at Jey's face. Instead of dismissing it and walking off, you look at Jey's face. Look how happy the fucking guy is. You're on the verge of fucking tears.
Yeah. Bro brought his son into the ring.
Yeah, real. And so what I'm thinking is, you know what, Jey? Good for you. And you know what I thought in that moment? I thought, this is like Rey Mysterio shit. You know what I mean? This is this is like when Eddie won the title. You know what I mean? Like this is...
Yeah, he's so over.
That level of over is crazy. The guy is talented and that's it. I mean, what more could you want? People are like, oh, we could have had Punk. We could have had... Yo, I understand that. But Punk's going to have a good match at Mania anyway. What are we doing, guys? He's going to have a great match at Mania. Rollins going to have a great match at Mania. Drew, great match. Why wouldn't they? They're the best in the company. Of course they're going to be in Mania. Why does it have to be for a title? I just want good stories.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it. It doesn't have to be for a title. Y'all act like Punk needs it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially at this point in his career. Like, he needs to be fucking champion.
You know? It's like, let me tell you something. Punk literally put on a 5-star Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood. Me and Squito were there. All right? He put on a 5-star level match at Bad Blood. That guy is consistent. He is great at what he does. He puts on great matches with Seth Rollins on a fucking Raw episode. You know? Like, that guy is next level at what he does. We know this. Do we really need the belt as an elevator? We don't need it. So why are we so fervently angry that he's not going up for the belt? It's like we don't need it to up the hype. A match like Sammy versus Gunther and that 4-year reign, that with adding the title on top of it, that's how you elevate a match. With Punk Punk v Gunther, it's like, the championship kind of feels null and void. You're getting Punk and Gunther. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now, Punk versus Cody, that's different. I see you. And with that decision, I'll even say, you know what? I would prefer to see that match. Absolutely.
For sure.
But we act like that match is never going to happen. Come on.
It's, definitely at some point it's happening.
100%. You know?
I mean, they've been teasing it since last year before the Royal Rumble, when they were the final two. They were the final two at last year's Rumble.
It's going to happen, damn it. And when it happens, it's going to be glorious. We're just not there yet. Right, guys?
That's true.
People always say, wrestling isn't cinema. Why do the young kids nowadays, they say let them cook? Because y'all never let shit cook.
Yeah.
Y'all like this shit raw for no reason. It makes no sense. Have you learned nothing from the last 4 years? Have you learned nothing since Vince has been taken away from WWE? Have you not noticed the quality of matches going up? Because things are actually properly rehearsed and planned?
Yeah.
Oh my God, fucking shocker. You know?
Mm-hmm. It's that long-term storytelling. It's like so many people were mad at WrestleMania 39 when Cody lost. Like, it was his time. He should have won the belt. Roman doesn't need to be champion for another year. And then look at how big 40 was.
Bro, next level. Really, next level. Now, I'm just really... The thing is, damn well they didn't plan that shit, right? But
Yeah.
I really like that they ended up doing that. Because it was probably like a vague plan. It's like, you'll win it next year, kid. And then The Rock came in. It's like, you know what, actually.
I think Cody was going to win. He was going to win the title regardless at some point.
At some point. He needed to. The way they built it up, people would literally be angry with WWE if Cody didn't win it at some point. You know? Because of Dusty.
For sure.
I'm sorry, but the way they were building up Cody around Dusty and how Dusty never won the championship, he held the title once, but it wasn't really his, that kind of thing. I mean, they would be shooting themselves in the foot if Cody was never champion,
Yeah.
So, but okay. The main thing for me here is this, all right? People don't like the fact that WWE's into longer term storytelling now and how we're dragging it out with every show. It's like, guys, let me just talk to you real quick, all right? Let's think about this. You're watching this show because you love the stories, you love wrestling, right? Well, you get both of them. You get the shows for free or with a Netflix subscription. I guess it's like $7-8 with ads, however much, right? And then you get a PLE for Peacock, which is like $6-7 a month. You are no longer paying for cable, which is $50-60, you know what I mean? What's the word? A month. And you are no longer paying for pay-per-views, which is another $40-60. All right. The cost has gone down. The quality of content has gone up, and we're still complaining. Like, don't get me wrong. You should definitely complain and nitpick at things like this so they can get better. Absolutely. But to dismiss the whole show as, things have gotten so trash lately, and Paul is a terrible booker. I'm sorry. Paul is a terrible booker. Look at where WWE is right now. Vince didn't do that shit. All right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying Paul did that solely. Of course it wasn't. It was a fucking team effort. But you cannot say shit like Paul is a terrible booker. Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, I can't. The people can say small stuff like, I don't like that there's no promos at the PLEs. I hear you. And you know what? I agree. But to say Paul is a terrible booker, y'all overstate that shit. Y'all just throw terrible out. Y'all throw that, Shawn Michaels to take over everything. It's like, wait. Calm down. Paul is doing really good, and he's steering this ship really well. It's not perfect. It will never be perfect. All right? Just call out decision by decision and say, hey, this could have been better. This could have been better. Just dismiss the whole fucking thing. But that's what people on the internet like to do because it's quick and it gets clicks. You know what I mean? That's all it is. It's stupid.
Yeah. Nowadays, there's no longer good or bad. There's no, like, middle of the road. It has to be good or bad.
It's got to be polarizing.
Yeah. And if it's one tiny thing that you didn't like, it's automatically the worst thing in the world. That's how so many people look at shit now. And, like, okay, the current WWE landscape isn't perfect, but it's a lot better than it was 10 years ago.
Oh, don't even start it with fucking, like, 2010, 2013, fucking, like, I'm telling you right now, that shit was so fucking boring, it was ridiculous. You only cared about the main event stuff. That's it, Now I care about the whole card. I want to see these guys fucking fight each other. Not only because I'm invested, because I've been spending a lot more time. I've been spending a lot more time with the show because it's better. All right? I would not for the life of me put up with like fucking mid 2010s. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. It's what it is. I'm sure some people, oh, that's my favorite era. Okay, listen, you're not a sucker for it. You like it. It's what it is. I'm saying I couldn't. The quality has gone up since then dramatically. All right?
Yeah.
It's gone up dramatically since the Attitude Era, right? It goes into Ruthless Aggression with all the big hard hitters, right? And then it kind of decreases through the PG era, right? PG era up to like 2022. I can't. You know what I mean? But then you got this new gen, and it's just so much better quality-wise. How could I not be a WWE fan right now?
Yeah.
And so people look at all that progress and they say, nah, it's still ass, though. Like, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing here?
I mean, for me, I got back into WWE with WrestleMania 39. And I mean, you can ask Big Time. I still talk about WrestleMania 39.
Real.
Because to me, you know, I've gone back and I've rewatched WrestleManias from my childhood. I've gone back and rewatched WrestleManias that I've missed. And even after all of that, with where I'm at now as a WWE fan, I think WrestleMania 39 is the greatest WrestleMania of all time. And I think it's representative of where the product is now. And WrestleMania 40 is still really fucking good. But 39, I think, for me, was that perfect. It was just a lot of things coming together perfectly that got me back into watching wrestling. Because WrestleMania 39 was my first show back after years of not watching the product. And I didn't know a lot of the people on the card, but I was into it. I loved the build up for the storylines. I love so much of what they were doing with it, and the matches were all bangers. So 39, I think, it's overall just a true representation overall of what the WWE is now and how much better it has gotten.
It's definitely the most rounded out. Absolutely. Well, shadow of a doubt. Compared to WrestleMania 40, where it's like, okay, we can get rid of like 5 of these matches. What are we doing?
I mean, who remembers Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament? Like,
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's real, dog. Nah, I say it loud and proud. This generation right now, where we are right now, it's peak. It's peak WWE. Don't get me wrong. Attitude Era, so many great moments, so competitive, absolutely. But where we are right now, with how far things have come in the women's division, how far things have come with treating superstars correctly, with with medical, with getting the proper medical clearance before performing, not having that undue pressure and having wrestlers take painkillers. Just from a company standpoint, they're doing the best they've ever done right now. Just from the company standpoint. Now, from a viewer's perspective, let's take the company perspective out. All right. From the viewer's perspective, you have the most diverse content in the world, wrestling content in the world right now. I'm sorry. You got it from all different angles. OK, yeah. If you come from Mexico, you got Rey Mysterio, you got Penta, you got all that representation from the luchador. If you come from Puerto Rico, you got Damian fucking Priest. What better person to represent PR than fucking Damian Priest?
Real.
Okay? If you got Ireland, you got our boy Sheamus, bro. Come on. Sheamus is peak. Like, this isn't just bland representation. This is representation from people who are actually fucking talented. Germany, you got Gunther. All right, come on now. Good. Is it Germany or Austria? Fuck, let me see.
Austria, I think.
Austria. You fucking Austria. Yeah. All of y'all, I won't say that. Okay, all of y'all from over there. Yeah, you got all that representation for some of the best fucking wrestler in the company right now. America's been had all that representation. If you want to talk about what's the word? If you want to talk about representation in general, they got it all, bro. It's all there. It's all vibrant, and the show is for everybody, man. They make it as diverse as possible, and a lot of it doesn't feel forced because these guys are genuinely talented. They're really good at what they do, and their storylines fucking hit. You know what I mean? I mean, look at Penta. All right, you cannot tell me within a million years that guy's a diversity hire. Don't give me that shit. All right, that guy is legit every fucking step of the way.
I love Penta, bro.
I love Penta. That guy is peak.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to take another aspect just to show how good WWE is right now, look at this, how they deal with celebrities. like Bad Bunny fighting Damian
Bad
Priest
Bunny.
at Backlash in Puerto Rico.
Dude, his entrance and PR was peak, bro.
It's so good.
Was he out there with like a pull? It was a kendo stick and a garbage can? Some shit. He went out there, his fucking music came on.
The kendo stick was wrapped with like the Puerto Rican flag, and then he took out a whole shopping cart full of weapons. I mean, you can't get better than that. And he put on a banger of a match.
Oh my god.
And then, I mean, look at how much dedication Logan Paul has put into his in-ring work. He's athletic. He's good.
He's a celebrity guy. Let me just preface it by saying I think Logan Paul is definitely near the scum of the earth. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes about wrestling technique and talent, the guy's got it. You know what I mean?
He's got it. Yeah.
Absolutely. That guy's got it. I mean, como se dice, that they're pushing these guys is ridiculous. I mean, right now, Logan Paul's being pushed to the fucking moon. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's in a chamber match. He's not going to win, but he's in it.
No, I mean, he was in last year's chamber match, too. They put him in the ring with Drew and Randy Orton and all these guys.
That's another way they got better. Let me add another way that they got better, okay? They got really good at understanding, when to use extreme. You know what I mean? They've shown a lot of restraint over the past couple years. When stuff has gotten really fucked up, like really extreme, it's a Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood. It's a Cody v. Kevin in a ladder match. You know what I mean? When stuff gets really extreme, it's really saved for when it's the most effective. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Meanwhile, you go back 10 years, there's a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? You know?
I think we still need something else besides the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Because it has dumbed down the quality of that match, in my opinion. But it is a gimmick match, and I understand why they still keep it.
Right, because I feel like World WrestleMania needs to be consistent, right? So I hear.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Royal Rumble. You know, it's like that annual, gimmick match.
You know what? I will say this about Elimination Chamber. I understand that they're talking about the safety of the wrestlers, all that. I hear you, but making the sides of the Elimination Chamber like the ground and mats instead of metal, I'm sorry, I don't see it. Sorry,
the danger's not there.
Listen, I understand. All right, hey, people are landing on their fucking necks. Like I go to old matches and I see how they land. That shit hurts. Of course, I see it. But this is a fucking Elimination Chamber match, guys. What are we doing? If you put mats on the floor and only have them fucking crash into the fucking the steel outside, it's like, sorry, I don't see it. It doesn't. It doesn't track for me. It really doesn't. You know what? You know what? If they do continue to do that, which we all know they will, in fact, they probably should, safety wise, right? I need to see more people being fucking speared and slammed through the pods. I need to see it. All right? I need to see somebody escape an Elimination Chamber. I need to see it.
That'd be interesting.
I need to see somebody come in with bolt cutters and rip the fucking whatever the fuck off, right? And then maybe like he gets up on the top, somebody chases after him and he jumps off the cage. Like, I want to see it. You know what I mean? I need to see some more variation with that match because right now it's feeling like a 5v5 Survivor Series shit. You know what I mean? Just there for the tradition. And while I do like tradition, I think you can do a lot more with that match. Absolutely. So.
And I feel like they're also suffering with like War Games even recently. Because like War Games is cool, but last year it felt like a lot of bullshit was coming together to like make a storyline, you know, to have these people face off at War Games. You could just do brand warfare War Games. Like for a while, Survivor Series was like Raw versus SmackDown. Why not do Raw versus SmackDown War Games? Nick Aldis versus Adam Pearce. You know, I'd fucking watch that.
Fuck yeah, absolutely.
And solid rosters.
And you'd make their characters interesting. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, and maybe even for 1 year, you go back to the 5v5 just to see how it hits.
Right.
Maybe you form a storyline out of it. Instead of brand warfare, you have a storyline based 5v5, you know, Survivor Series elimination match.
Well, what I need to see is with brand warfare is I need to see invasions. You know what I mean? I need to see them come in WCW style and just fucking lose it, right? Like, come on, guys. Let's do it like he did with the ECW. Let's go all out, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I got really interested in, like, I went back and watched Survivor Series. I think it was 2019, where they brought in NXT. So it's like 5v5v5 elimination. That was fun. That was a good match. So I feel like they should do something like that. You know, bring NXT into Survivor Series, elevate that brand a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Because right now I love NXT, but it feels so niche. It's like so separated from the main roster right now.
And you know what's crazy about that? It feels niche. I agree with you. Yet it's still got way more viewers than AEW. Like, how is that? How is that a thing? I'm just saying. Meanwhile, AEW's got its own 2 shows. It's got pay-per-views and shit. NXT's like, we got developmental, and people are like, take my money. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Jesus.
And honestly, like, I'm not trying to glaze NXT, but like a lot of the problems that people have with main roster booking, I think NXT does not have any of those issues.
I hear you.
NXT is good through and through, bro. Well, you're getting quality content.
See, what I like about NXT, and this is kind of applies to the Shawn Michaels and the Paul Levesque the conversation, is that with Shawn Michaels, when he makes a decision, it's like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want a booking decision, if the crowd is leaning a certain way, it's like that. It's quick, on the go, all day, every day, where I need to be, right? But if you go over to Paul Levesque, if he wants to make a big decision, changing up the champions, you got hurdles, bro. Listen, it's not like I know the inner machinations of WWE. It's not like, but I 100% believe that Shawn Michaels has a hell of an easier time getting his decisions through creative than Paul Levesque does. Let's be frank here, all right? Because Paul Levesque's got what's that one? It's not RKO. What's the big one?
TKO.
TKO.
Yeah, TKO Holdings.
Paul Levesque's got TKO. Paul Levesque's got those wrestlers and their media representatives. You know what I mean? Like these got all these things, and not only that, if there's something big where it requires like stunt guys or they have to be notified. Like, listen, all right. Like I said, it's not like I know everything, but I know damn well that the process is a lot more complicated for Paul than it is for Shawn. I'm just being frank. All right.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, NXT is really good at keeping things simple.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, this guy's over. Okay, make him a number 1 contender. Have him get a title match, win the title.
Right.
Even
It
if he's
feels
champion
like
for like
that,
a month.
right? Yeah, of course. But
it's efficient.
Right. Exactly. It's quick. It's where it needs to be. You know what I mean? In that moment, you can feel where the crowd needs it to go, and you can make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the equivalent to calling an audible. I love it.
Yeah.
But, como se dice, but when it comes to the big roster, stuff like that takes time to develop. You know what I mean? And I feel like as como se dice, comparing Paul Levesque and Shawn Michaels, and when it comes to their efficiency of running things, it's very unfair. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, NXT is just good. If you don't watch NXT, watch NXT. You're missing out, honestly.
I need to get back on that train. I really do. I watched like one pay-per-view a while back, and I didn't watch anything after that. I need to get back on that.
I know they got some good shit there.
Stand and deliver. So let's talk about predictions.
Okay.
Where in the fuck do you think Elimination Chamber is heading, and who's the victor?
I really hope it's not just my nostalgia talking. But I really want Cena to win that chamber.
Cena gotta win, bro. I'm sorry, but the biggest match at Mania is Cena versus Cody.
Versus Cena.
I'm sorry, but there is literally no better match to have as a send-off for the greatest of all time. Yeah?
In his last WrestleMania.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
I've seen people propose the idea of CM Punk versus Cody versus Cena. That'd be a banger triple threat. But I feel like if it's just Cody versus Cena, it's more monumental.
Goddamn right. But, it's like Shawn Michaels v. Flair, you know? It's just what it is. It's the new GOAT getting, taking out the old GOAT and passing the torch. I mean, John Cena passed the torch to Jey.
Yeah.
You know?
At Royal Rumble, he did, for sure.
And I know John Cena's got one more torch, and it's for Cody fucking Rhodes. How can you make a face in the company more over than having John Cena give him the sign of approval? I'm just being honest.
That's true.
John Cena needs to murder Cody on the mic a few times, and then John Cena needs to give him the win at Mania. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Now, do I want him to be 17-time champ? Absolutely. Do I think it's completely unnecessary and it would damage Cody? Abso-fucking-lutely. So don't do that. All right? Because we need Cody, all right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I mean, let me tell you something. People would probably defend that, say like, oh, no, but people would understand. It would be passive. Cena would win, and then he'd give it up, or he'd lose it the next month. It's like, yeah, But people don't care about the next month. They remember the big monumental moment at Mania.
Yeah.
All right?
For sure.
And that will drop Cody's character down. It will lower him. You know what I mean?
The only way it would work is if you lean it more into a heel turn for Cody.
See, that's different. Right?
I think that's the only way you could get that loss to work.
If John Cena was willing to play the long game, which I don't think he's going to.
Yeah.
But let's say
he has till December.
Yeah, you're right. Let's say that's what he did, and he did it towards Mania, and Cody lost at Mania, which would be a fucking shocker. If Cody loses at Mania, and then slowly becomes bitter, tries again at the next PLE, doesn't work out, and then becomes a heel and fights Cena at SummerSlam. Now that would be the only way to go if they want Cena to win.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
I could see that.
And you know what? I wouldn't even be mad if that's where they were headed. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
But, I mean, did he say that he wanted to go till December, or that WrestleMania was his last thing?
No, this is his last WrestleMania, but he's retiring in December. 2025 is his farewell tour. So all of 2025. So he's leaving. He's retiring in December.
See, that changes things. I thought it was just till WrestleMania.
No, he's staying till December for the whole year. He's got 34 dates left announced.
Dude.
So we have 34 more opportunities to see John Cena.
Cena could win.
He could.
Cena could win. Would I book it that way? I mean, I feel like Cody should. Yo, but Cody turning heel on the face of faces is like. There's no better opportunity.
I have a friend that I was talking to, and he was just like, no, I don't see Cody turning heel. I feel like the seeds are already kind of there with this Kevin Owens feud that he just had at the Rumble.
Bro embraces the hate. I'm just saying.
And if he stays babyface all the time, that's too much like Cena. I think Cody would just be like Cena 2.0 at that point. But if he went heel...
It's a different gen.
Yeah.
And you know what? 2 years ago, you asked me that question. I wouldn't think WWE was bold enough. Now, I think they're bold enough. With Jey winning at Rumble, they're bold enough.
Yeah.
Fuck
I
yeah,
could totally see heel Cody versus Jey.
Dude, no. I'm sorry. That blows my mind. If Cody actually loses at Mania, Cena's the champion, gets to 17 time, beats the record, which is pretty much unofficial. Because people are like, oh, but Ric Flair won all these other world titles. Yeah, but at other companies and fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean as much as John Cena. I'm sorry. It's the truth. Don't get me wrong. We love Ric Flair. He's a great wrestler, whatever the fuck. But guys, John Cena won 16 world titles during some of the fucking most competitive fucking eras, and then when the competition went down, he carried the company. I'm sorry, he's not perfect, but for him to win the title 16 times mean that he was routinely the guy to go to.
Yeah.
During some of the biggest times of WWE. Okay, so just don't come at me with that shit. All right, Cena's 16 title reign is already more significant than Rick, but with the 17th reign, it puts him in the kayfabe as the top guy ever.
Yeah,
in WWE. Sure. And I feel like WWE would pull that trigger if that leads to Cody being heel, turning heel.
Yeah,
I see it.
I can see it.
Squito, I you know what? Now that we've said it, I literally cannot see any other outcome. That has to be it.
Yeah.
I was full on the Cody wins it, but then you told me, it's like, wait, he's got till December?
Yeah.
What is bro gonna do? Meddle around to the end of the year? What the fuck?
Yeah.
No.
Because then it's like, if Cena loses at Mania, it's like, okay, I'll go for the title again at SummerSlam. Okay. At that point, it's just like, the story's the chase. I get it.
Right.
You could book it for the year, maybe he doesn't win it till Survivor Series or some shit, the last PLE. But I think it'd be more interesting to have him win it at Mania and then have Cena hold the title until December, where he drops the belt in his final match.
Yeah. I don't know about... The thing is, right? December? The War Games, right?
Yeah.
Him losing it at War Games doesn't fit.
What, at Survivor Series?
Yeah, Survivor Series. I don't think it fits.
Why is that?
I understand it's the end of the year. What's the word? Survivor Series, the highlight of that is always war games. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see WWE booking it that way. I see them booking at a SummerSlam. It's the second biggest show of the year, right? And like something like that.
And it's 2 nights this year.
Right. So I feel like they definitely book something like that at SummerSlam.
Maybe. And the thing is, we still have Money in the Bank this year.
Right.
In like June-ish.
Watch John Cena win the fucking... Watch John Cena win the suitcase, bro. Hey, yo. Nah, but...
I was going to say that could be a good way for him to lose the title. And then you just build someone up as the ultimate heel. Like, say fucking Carmelo Hayes wins Money in the Bank for no fucking reason. He cashes in on Cena, bro. The amount of heat he's going to get would be crazy.
It would be next level. You know?
And it gives Carmelo his first world title.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure Cena would love to, if he wins the belt, if he wins the 17th world title, I think he wants to drop it to someone that has not won a world title yet.
I have.
Like a Bron Breakker.
I was literally just going to say that. Have Bron Breakker lose the IC title, take that fucking suitcase, and murder John Cena with a spear. Just one solid one.
Just a singular spear.
Dude, I would watch the fuck out of that. If they wanted to displace it to somebody else, perfect. But I do think the storybook ending is Cody turning heel on John after this on the second showing. I think that's where it needs to be. You know?
Yeah. And I really do think, like, going back to the Cody turning heel, you know, Roman's a face now. I really want Cody versus Roman 3 with the roles reversed.
Hell yeah. Any day of the week, guys. Let's do it. So, yeah, you know, that's my official diagnosis, is that if WWE has the balls, which they've shown that they do now, it's got to be Cena versus Rhodes at WrestleMania. And it's got to be Cena going over, which then eventually leads to Cody being so fucking bitter. Bro goes ultra heel and goes to town on John Cena and gets the belt back as the ultimate heel. Like, I'm talking, you know what they can do? Cut the retirement tour short. Get him fucking, kill him at SummerSlam. Kill him.
Yeah.
You know? Just, you know what I mean? Bury him alive. Whatever you got to do. If they do something like that, I'm down.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, because, you know, people are expecting the traditional handoff. You know what I mean? Oh, he's passing the torch. Look at him. And what we love, the ceremonious stuff. What would be infinitely more interesting if Cody goes extra heel and says, you know what? Fuck John Cena. You know what I mean? Let's go.
Ultimate heel moves.
I'm all for it, man. Seriously. Because that's what would give Cody the perfect aura to start with. You know what I mean? Who else can you go heel on to start with that would be more of a push than John Cena? Who else? They don't exist. So,
yeah.
If Cody is ever going to go heel, which he should, because he can play a good heel, it's got to be John, and it's got to be after he loses at Mania. That's it.
I could see it for sure.
That's such a wasted opportunity if they don't do that. I'm sure they'd find a good way to do it other time, of course, but this is the best chance. So that's my prediction. Locked in. That's it. You feel the same way, Squeedo? How you feel? Maybe adjust it? What do you like?
I think I could definitely see the Cody heel turn happening and him losing. But it's so tough, though. Because there's so many variables now, I feel like, with so many top guys, that I could see Cody losing to, you know, maybe he drops it to a Drew McIntyre. He could drop the title to Punk.
I don't think they do it for Drew. Punk, sure. You know? Actually,
you don't
no,
think Drew?
I don't even think Punk either. I don't see it. Against Cody? I don't see it.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't. I feel like it has to be something so astronomically, just like how WrestleMania 40 was massive and like that changing of the tide, like into a new era, basically. Yeah. When Cody does eventually lose that title, it can't be in a traditional sense. It can't be I lose, see you next month. It's got to be a changing of the tides. It's got to affect the entirety of WWE. And I feel like the best way to do that is with Cena. Go ahead.
Because it's also a thing of like, this is Cody's first Mania walking into it as champion.
Right.
It's hard for me to see him not leave with the belt either.
I hear you. And you know what? I hear that. It's so fucking...
There's so many
difficult.
ways it can go.
Absolutely. And that's what's so beautiful about this year, bro. We're so fucking lucky, bro. WWE is spoiling us, bro. Rotten. It's ridiculous. There's so many ways it could go, and they're all good. All of them.
And I saw a video today. I think it was WrestleMania. The title is like, why fans have lost faith in like WWE as a product. But I don't think fans have lost faith at all. We're just in a moment of unpredictability. And I think that's what I like about it. Right. It's not predictable. It's not like last year where, Cody's going to rematch Roman and win at Mania.
Right.
And then the Rock swerve happened, and then it pissed all of us off. But then they went back to Cody Roman, and it was locked in. Okay, Roman's losing at Mania. There's no way he's walking out as champion.
Even though we were all like praying, for the love of God, Cody, do not get hit by a car before you get to Mania. You know what I mean?
Like, oh my God. Dude, and the fact that he wrestled like every week too, it's like, dude, relax.
It did not help. Because if he got injured, that's it. That's it. It's not happening this year, like at all. You know what I mean? Oh man, dude, the level of tension surrounding that match. It's like, dude, if Cody gets shot, if Cody gets hurt in all these matches, anything like that whatsoever, if he farts the wrong way, he tears an ass cheek, we don't know. All right?
Yeah.
But whatever happens, WWE doctors, they will not let him compete, and bro's just going to have to deal with it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I feel like definitely as soon as he became champion, you can tell Cody's working less matches.
Because he needs to. He's champ now. If he gets injured and fucking Vacant becomes champion again, you know what I mean?
Vacant, fucking 170th time world champion.
Ridiculous.
Bacon at WrestleMania.
No big chances.
Versus John Cena.
Which really surprised me that he's champion and he's taking fucking cement bumps. Like, what the fuck? Remember that ladder match where he got slammed through the ladder onto cement? Like, what the?
Yeah, Cody in his matches feels like he still has a chip on his shoulder, like he needs to prove something. It's like, dude, my brother in Christ, you are world fucking champion.
You know?
Like,
what the fuck is wrong with you, man? All I'm thinking is like, bro, the level of fucking Chad you have to be like, I still do it like the young kids. What? Dude,
it's different maybe for Kevin Owens. Like, he needs to put on a show.
Yeah, because this is next level heat, right? But
Cody, it's like,
dude,
relax.
Dude, that Alabama slam through the fucking ladder. I've never seen something like that before. That was next level. That was ridiculous.
That was just a great match.
That was a great match in general, right?
Great ladder match.
It literally served exactly like you paint. A lot of the times when you see these blood feuds happen, you paint the final of match in your mind, and you're kind of disappointed, right? Like it kind of doesn't meet your expectations. That happens a lot, you know.
It does.
With this match, they immediately like started going at each other. They went to the outside, then they went outside into the crowd and fought each other. Used weapons. They both did they both bleed, or was it just Kevin? I think Kevin just bled.
I think it was just Kevin, yeah.
Yeah, Kevin fucking bled, so you saw blood. You got people slamming through fucking ladders, like all of that stuff that you almost never see anymore. Two top level guys do it. You expect it from Kevin, but Cody did it too. Like that's it's next level, bro. What a great match that one was. That's how you make people care too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's about time Kevin Owens wins a world title.
I'd see
Hopefully soon.
I agree. But you see, that's the thing, right? Is like when and how are they going to make room for the fucking guy? You know what I mean? Because you got Bronn that needs to go up. You know what I mean? You got Gunther, who should always be champion every day. You know what I mean?
You got Drew McIntyre, who was MVP of last year. 2024. He deserves a world title run.
He deserves a world title run. You got Jey Uso, who also deserves the world title run. You got Cody, who's the main guy. You got Roman, who can come back at any minute. You know what I mean? And seize the championship. You got Seth Rollins, who's been the most consistent fucking guy for over a decade. He deserves a title run. Like, all of these fucking people deserve a title run, you know? Punk deserves a title run. You know, like all of them. And we're out here trying to deliberate like specific people. It's like, bro, any of them could be. Yeah. It's crazy.
I saw a post the other day that I completely agree with. And it not a knock against Gunther. I love that Gunther's world heavyweight champion. Bro deserves it.
Real.
But no world heavyweight championship run has been good as Seth Rollins.
I mean, yeah.
As the inaugural world heavyweight champ. He carried that fucking belt.
Well, yeah, that Paul said it himself. It's like, listen, I need to make people care about this belt. What do? I give it to Seth Rollins. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
And I feel like to this fucking day, we haven't had a world heavyweight champion as good as that first run with Seth Rollins.
And yeah, I hear you, dog. I hear you. And Guy had some banger matches. He really did.
You
know,
in less than a year too. Think about that. His run was less than a year, and he's had so many fucking matches. He fought Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre, fucking AJ Styles. He fought everybody.
Meanwhile, dude. Roman Reigns had about maybe 2.5. You know what I mean? Total defenses, bro. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think that entire time that Seth was champion, Roman had 4 matches.
Oh my god. I mean, that's
for the championship.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something real quick, okay? I find that absolutely ridiculous, but I think Sweeto also agrees with me when I say this. It's necessary to build that aura around him. I mean, considering he already beat all these guys, you know, to build that aura around him, to really say like, hey, I'm just here trying to fulfill my contractual obligations, you know, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You have to make him a part-timer. Is what it is. And hey, Roman gets to enjoy his family more. Everyone wins, you know?
Yeah, he gets to enjoy his family. And also, he doesn't get fucking injured and have to relinquish the title after a historic title reign.
Well, exactly. The level of risk to not fumble this bag. Like, it is ridiculous. That's why people say, oh, Roman's wrestling too safe. Because he's got the world on his shoulders, dude. You know what I mean?
He's not champion anymore. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, now, right? You know, and so now he can go a little extra if he wants to. He wants to get a little edgy, he can, but he doesn't need to, and he knows that. No. You know what I mean? So, and I don't blame him. See, that's my thing, right? It's like, well, he's not going above and beyond. It's like, dude, he's been consistent for a very long time. You see greatness. He got it. You know, Roman's been there for a very long time, and he's carried the company on his shoulder for 4 years?
Yeah.
Bro deserves a rest. Let him rest. You know what I mean? It's what it is.
Yeah.
Let's see him Punk and Drew McIntyre kill each other. You know what I mean? Like, you're still getting that.
Yeah.
That match was so fucking crazy. I'm sorry.
It was.
My God.
It's so good.
Bro pulled a screwdriver on him, bro. Like, wait, hold on.
Yeah. Wait. They were using the bottom of the table as a weapon. Never seen that before.
Yeah, me neither. That's special. Yeah. And then you add the fact that Punk accidentally busted Drew McIntyre over the head with the toolbox.
With the toolbox, yeah.
And the ref was trying to wipe the blood from him. He's like, get the fuck off me, man. Let me get color, you know? Because, you know, the back is like, hey, clean him up right now.
Yeah.
Fuck that, bitch. Let it run.
It's hell in a cell, dude.
Because Drew McIntyre is a fucking purebred. That guy is the definition of born again hard. It's what it is. You know what I mean? The guy came into basic training his first couple of years, right? And then after the basic training, after the developmental period, he went back to the fucking indies. And when he came back, he was a savage, bro. You know what I mean? It's next level, that guy. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that, once again, I say this once, I say it a million times, we have so many guys deserving of the title. And we only have 2 of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, you know, and so a lot of the time people are like, this guy deserves it. This guy deserves it. This guy deserves it. It's like, bro, I 100% agree with you, but bro's not going to get it anytime soon. It's what it is. Like, they just have to make room for these guys.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and people are like, oh my God, I can't believe WrestleMania's got 2 nights. It should just be 1. Yeah, like those kinds of people, you know what I'm telling them? It's like, bro, the roster's so fucking massive. I'm surprised Mania isn't 3 nights yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real.
It's ridiculous how fucking stacked these cards are, how fucking stacked the roster is. Like, and now with how well rehearsed these matches are, like, let me tell you something. The Royal Rumble that we got this year was peak. All right, I'm sorry. The way that it was layered from front to back, and then you got into the back half of the match where the main eventers started showing up, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. None of them are, right? Especially Royal Rumbles. They can get a little choosy, you know what I mean? But 2025's Royal Rumble, what I could tell is that the spots were really well rehearsed. In between entrants, you saw people who have every single entrant felt new. It wasn't just like a 2010 Rumble where new guy comes out, hit the finisher 2 times, next person. Hit the finisher 2 times, next person. Hit the finisher 2 times. No. Every single spot felt like it was deserved. There was either a memorable moment or a really cool sequence that happened. It all felt unique. It all felt really well rehearsed and not half-assed, which is what it's supposed to be. A Royal Rumble is meant to be a showcase of all of these stars. It's a lot of these guys, it's their time to shine, you know what I mean?
For sure, yeah.
And like I said, with how well rehearsed it was, it came off as a really strong showing, a really good Royal Rumble match. And I said it once, I'll say it a million times. We got Bron Breakker breaking into the main event scene with this match. So, I mean, the fucking guy, just the one spear. That shows me, hey, next year, watch out. Holmes is here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, we haven't even brought up Jacob Fatu yet.
Oh, man. That fucking guy. You know what I mean? I love him. He's next level. And his rivalry with his rivalry with Braun Strowman right now. Like I said, Braun Strowman isn't the strongest, whatever, but he's a big guy, really menacing. And Jacob Fatu is making him look like a child's play fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's perfect, and it's a good way to build up Jacob Fatu's strength. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fighting the biggest guy in the company is a great way to build his strength. And as time goes on, eventually we're going to get the dream matches. We're going to get Fatu versus Gunther. We're going to get Fatu versus Breaker. You know what I mean? We're going to I want to see Fatu versus AJ Styles. I want to see that today.
Yeah. That'd be good.
I'm sorry. Let me say one thing about Fatu real quick, then I'll let you go off, okay? Fatu. That man's moonsault is the most consistent thing ever laid in WWE history.
Yeah.
That guy hits that moonsault perfect every time. No reaction. He'll hit it 3 times.
Aim assist.
He'll hit, for real, he'll hit it 4 or 5 times in a row. And you can tell he doesn't land on his opponent. He lands perfectly. And he has a perfect ascension. He never trips. He is perfect with that moonsault every time, and it comes off as devastating every time. I mean, talk about peak wrestling acumen. And then you got the fact that bro's already cutting killer promos. He's not perfect, but he'll get there,
Yeah.
And as time goes on and the crowd knows how to react to him, he'll get even more over it. It's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, they're really pushing Jacob Fatu, and you can tell why, because he's talented. He's got it. He's got that star power, and I think they're doing such a good job of building him up because he is presented as a main eventer, but I think they're going to keep him in the mid card at least for a little bit. Sorry, this Io and Bianca match is just like 5 stars right now.
I'm watching it, yeah. I want you to bring up that point about how Roman Reigns brought all these people up on the bloodline to kind of have them, in the main event and then
I mean, when you watch any documentary or anything talking about Roman Reigns and the bloodline, and even in interviews when he talks about the bloodline, you can tell that the reason why he wanted to do this, why this part of his career is so important to him, is because he's not elevating himself, right? Roman was pushed to the moon under Vince McMahon as the big dog. He wanted him to be the face of the company, to be the face of everything, the ultimate baby face, the next John Cena. Roman Reigns is not that. And the Tribal Chief character allows Roman Reigns to be a version of himself that's turned up to 11, but he also gets to use his star power to elevate his cousins, his family. They talk all the time about how the Usos and Roman grew up together, and how they're not even really cousins, they're practically brothers. And so, with his first feud when Roman Reigns became Universal Champion was against Jey Uso. And at the time, Jimmy Uso was out due to a knee injury and he had to get surgery and all that. Jey Uso was by himself on SmackDown. And, at the time, the Usos, they're a tag team, right? Jey Uso, he's one half of the Usos. He's part of that tag team. Under Roman Reigns, Jey Uso became the right-hand man. He became main event Jey Uso. That's where that whole thing started in 2020, was for that feud with the Universal title.
Now, from the eyes of just the bloodline alone, you could probably still consider Jey Uso as just a tag team lackey. Even when he was at the top, you could still perceive it as that because he was still within the bloodline. But after the bloodline split and everyone had to swim in their own ocean, everyone had to swim on their own, all of a sudden, that same persona, when it's detached from the bloodline, he went from just a tag team lackey to when he detaches from the bloodline 4 or 5 years later to a main eventer that is now going to WrestleMania to fight Gunther for the championship. Why do you think that is? Because he had that time to develop. He was in your faces this entire time. And you saw him as just Roman Reigns' bodyguard lackey. And even though you loved his charisma, he was awesome, he was always under Roman Reigns. So instead of putting Jey over Roman Reigns, even though they even did that with him pinning him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once they removed Roman from the scene, he was gone for a little while. That's when Jey really had the time to shine. And Solo turning heel against everybody was instrumental in that. You could definitely talk about how there was some mid-storyline in there, but it was all the building blocks that Jey needed to get over, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even just Jey as a single star. Look at the Usos as a whole.
Yeah.
When Roman was having his historic title reign, the Usos became the longest reigning tag team champions of all time. Their names are in the history books permanently. The longest reigning tag team champions of all time. And they main evented WrestleMania in a match for the tag team titles. In a match that not only, elevated the Usos and showed them as true main event stars, but in a whole storyline that elevated Sami Zayn to the main event scene. Because under Vince McMahon, Sami Zayn was stuck in the mid-card. He was not going anywhere. And then he got put into the Bloodline story. And now Sami Zayn is a consistent main event talent. He's reliable. I mean, we're getting Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
He's challenged for the World Heavyweight title. He won the IC title.
And then you got Sami Zayn versus Punk, which was peak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's just a thing of like, it's like anyone that comes across Roman Reigns is automatically elevated to their best potential, right?
Right. Because they need to be. In order to hang around him for any kind of extended period of time, they need to be. Roman Reigns brings that out of people. Just like how Brock Lesnar brings out the best wrestling that people can do. Just like how Sheamus does the same thing. Roman does it with their character, their persona, their aura, as the kids say. Everyone's elevated to 11 when they're around Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and I mean, he was in character when he said this, but recently Roman, on an interview, he was asked about Cody Rhodes, and he said Cody Rhodes was never more relevant than when he was feuding with the Bloodline.
Real?
He ain't wrong.
I mean,
I'm
it's
sorry,
the truth.
he ain't wrong.
It's the truth. It's even with the rivals, even with people who are against Roman, within that faction, within that long-term build-up, you elevate yourself when you throw yourself in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
but I mean, it's not to knock Cody. Cody's a main eventer. He's built himself up. He's the guy. But you can't deny that the whole finish the story thing and the Bloodline angle elevated him to that top babyface level that he needed to be.
And to be honest, what's the word? You'd never change a thing about that. That was the best way to go. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And you want to say that like he's that Avenger level fucking face. It's because of how bad the Bloodline was. You know what I mean? It's because of how great of a heel Roman Reigns was. That's it. He brings out the best. And he achieved a certain level of heel that no one within the last 20 years was able to pull off. You know what I mean? Next level.
Yeah, and then look at Solo Sikoa, right? Like when Solo first came in just as an enforcer for the Bloodline under Roman Reigns, he didn't talk. And, I didn't really care for Solo. He was having matches weekly on SmackDown. It was whatever. And then Roman loses the belt. And Solo decides that he's the tribal chief. He's next in line. He's going to take over the Bloodline. And at first, I was booing this man go away heat. Right. I did not want Solo in the main event spot. I'm like, fuck this. This whole character shift is too much. It's stupid.
Right.
And then Roman comes back at SummerSlam. He starts feuding with Solo. And the more Solo gets time on TV, the more time he spent on the mic cutting promos, the more I grew to like Solo as a heel.
Well, I feel like one of the reasons why we reject him in the beginning is because it felt like he was replacing Roman's persona. You know what I mean? But as time went on, and when Roman came back, Solo started to become more himself. the kind of unhinged, cutting jokes. It was like, oh, I got the tickets to the show, all that stuff, right? Just those moments alone showed me that he wasn't like a composed figurehead tribal chief. He was the what's the word? He was the outsider, kind of like the hyena to Roman Reigns Mufasa. You know what I mean? That's the vibe I got.
Yeah, he's like a wild card.
Right, he's the wild card. He's got unhinged lackeys like Jacob Fatu and the Tonga brothers.
Yeah, but that hyena comparison is actually perfect because that's exactly what they were.
It's exactly
what his bloodline was. Yeah,
absolutely. And then you got the lion pride, which I'm sorry, but it's what it is. He gets the lion pride of Jey, Jimmy, and what's the word? And Roman. Throw Sammy in there too. You know what I mean? Sammy's like
because they were never like unhinged.
Right. They were never unhinged. They were always in line. They were always disciplined, and they were always under Roman. When it came to Solo's lackeys, besides Fatu, who always said, "I love you, Solo," besides Fatu, it always felt like they were working with Solo to achieve a mean. You know what I mean? That's it. You could feel like, man, they could betray you at any minute. Meanwhile, you look at Jimmy and Jey, and it's like, if they do betray Roman, it's because like he fucking deserved it. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah.
Very disciplined, very uniform, a lot of prestige. Solo, wild card, unhinged, very different. But that's only when Roman came in. When Roman was out of the picture, it was as if Solo was trying to replace Roman's persona.
And we rejected him.
It was too bland. But as soon as Roman came back in, you are reminded of that uniformity. And Solo seemed to have been as well, because then he became even more unhinged. And that's what made his character way more interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, we're glazing Roman right now, but it's the truth. He used
it's what it is.
His spotlight, and he shared it with his family, with the bloodline, and other superstars like Sami Zayn. And it just goes to show, how much Roman really cares about the business, about the product, and of course about his family, because he wasn't selfish with it. He wasn't just putting himself over as the tribal chief. He got the Usos over. He got Solo over. He got Sammy over. And, a lot of these guys were over because of their own talent and the hard work they put in. Really? But Roman gave them the spotlight for people to see the talent that they had. And it's just, you can't get better than that. You got to love it.
You really can. It's really hard to talk about this stuff and kind of scale it to other parts of WWE, other time periods of WWE, because it's simply never gotten this big. Factions have never been this big. Matches have never been this big. This is new territory, and there's not a lot you can compare it to. You can compare it to Rock v. Stone Cold. You could compare it to maybe John Cena versus The Rock. Maybe that's the thing. There's some comparatory elements, but there's simply nothing like Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. It's never been done. It's never been achieved for this long in this kind of industry with how competitive it is. Roman Reigns was able to stay on top for 4 years, remain relevant for 4 years, keep the company on his back for 4 years, and then not only kept the company on his back, but elevated other people on top of that. It's just, there's no way to compare it. You know what I mean? And so when we say all these things, it makes it sound like glazing, because there's no way to rationalize it by comparing it to other things. There's nothing like it. It stands on its own.
Yeah, there's nobody like Roman Reigns.
The truth and the myth sound the same. you know? It's what it is. You can say that there were little things that, it was a bit too drawn out. There were moments where there wasn't enough story. Absolutely. But what would you have preferred in those moments? Would you have preferred the reign to end? Look what we got.
Yeah.
Y'all need to be patient, man. Damn.
Yeah, relax.
Shit. It's what it is. But
I even feel right now that with Cody being the champion and Cody being the face of WWE right now, it's hard to compare him to Roman, because I feel like, they're so different on so many different ways. Like, Cody feels like John Cena, right? In terms of being a babyface. He feels like that John Cena figurehead of the company. Whereas Roman, being the top guy, he was the top guy as a heel. So it's impossible to compare the two. And it's just so interesting to see, where we're at now with how many big guys there are on the roster, and that you can't compare any of them to anyone because everyone is so different and unique, and they can all carry the company in their own way. And you even have guys where you're like, oh yeah, they're definitely future top guys. You got Bron Breakker, Jacob Fatu. For sure, someday we're going to see Bron Breakker in the main event of WrestleMania. I don't doubt it.
Someday.
We're going to see it.
Just, there's nothing comparable. There really isn't. Roman and his squad is something that really is, what's the word? I won't say once in a lifetime because we still got plenty of life left, right?
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard to replicate, man.